Welcome to the HR Happy Hour Work Break for a Friday. Hi, Trish McFarland. How are you today?
I'm good, Steve. How are you?
I am well. First of all, we need to understand you are at a remote location today, a very special location in the H3HR family. Why don't you just tell us and our viewers where you're at?
I am at the H3HR Advisors. I guess we're going to call this Midwest East.
Okay, Midwest East. That makes sense.
We are at Karen Hunter's house. I am in the goat pen, and I am actually going to give you a little surprise here. I have a special guest here on the show for you today.
Oh, I hope this is who I think it is.
Oh,
but
wait.
Go ahead.
It's not cooperating. Come here, baby. Come here. Look. Nope. Not going to cooperate. All right. I'm going to flip my camera if I can.
All right. Do your best.
I don't know how to flip it. Oh my gosh, this is so bad. How do I flip
it? Honestly, you're in uncharted territory now with the live stream and turning the camera around. I'm not sure that even works. So why don't you maybe tell us who the guest is meant to be? And if we can
there. It is Steve Bose.
There, the goat named Steve. Oh, good to see him.
Stevie.
Little Stevie's gotten kind of big.
And with our other special guest doing the feeding. We'll bring her on in a minute. I
haven't seen little Steve in a while, so good to see him. Glad he's well.
Big. He's so big. I don't think he wants to be on camera, but he's super. There he is.
There you go. Is he still kind of what I recall from the descriptions of Steve, especially when he was a younger goat? Kind of thought he was kind of like a lap dog but a goat form of that. Is he still kind of that kind of a goat?
I think that's the case. Yes. So it's been a good day here, actually, in the Midwest. Karen and I have been meeting with one of our good friends from Equifax. Oh, there went the treats.
Okay.
Christy Kovlak, the VP of Strategic Communications, who I will have on in just a moment here. I won't get her. She's taking care of goats at the moment. We're doing a goat break.
Was that part of the meeting agenda? Like the goat?
It was.
The goat intervention?
Goat wrangling. We like to make sure that the vendors are able to actually handle goats as part of like the whole process. So
yeah,
that's things here. It's all about it. Are you good with the animals? Yeah, you have zero credibility till you've handled feeding goats and chickens. We've been holding chickens here at the farm, so it's been good. But
awesome. Well, it sounds like a great kind of nice balance between getting some work done and then going out and playing with animals on a nice day. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's in all seriousness, it's been really good. We got a nice update about Equifax Workforce Solutions and what they're up to. And I will just say this, I'm not going to give anything away, but stay tuned in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks because they've got some exciting news coming out. So it was nice to get a briefing on that. You'll be hearing more as HR tech approaches and even afterwards. So
good stuff.
Yeah. Definitely going along. And if you've got remote workers and anything compliance related, I think we're going to.
Yeah, we should probably reshare the link. We did the show a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago with Equifax and just how they were sort of helping employers get through some of these challenges when everything's fully remote and distributed, you can't see people in person. How do you verify documents? Even if something that sounds kind of simple, we learned on that show, like the I-9 form has like a 900 pages of rules and regulations attached to it or something like that.
It does. And as we talked about on that show, that's something for an HR team to it's hard to stay on top of, right? Especially for employees in multiple states, even multiple countries. Things like that. You really do sort of need a partner on that. And so, so definitely listen to that show if you haven't caught it already, and much more to come from them in the next month or so.
Yeah.
Really excited.
That's awesome.
So,
Trish, I want to say one thing so we can fit it in. I know we want to wrap this up on a Friday pretty quick, but it is a little semi-serious, but also important to me, and I know important to you and important to everybody who listens to the show. Today is 9/11. It's September 11th. It's the 19th anniversary, September 11th, and I wanted to do a shout out. Back when blogging was at its absolute kind of apex. Mm-hmm. This goes all the way back to 2009. So I looked this up on my old blog. There was an initiative called Project 2996, and the idea was a blogger could go to this page at this Project 2996, which is the number of the people who died on 9/11 here in this country. Right. And they would randomly assign you one of the victims of 9/11, and you were meant to write a blog post about that person. kind of in memoriam, just to make sure we're not forgetting. This was 8 years after the tragedy. This little project happened in 2009, and I participated in this. And I thought about it today because I realized today was 9/11, and it reminded me of writing this blog post. The person I got assigned to at random was a New York City firefighter by the name of Thomas Hetzel. He was 33 years old. He was in Ladder Company 13 in Manhattan, died tragically at the towers that day. He was a husband and father. It's likely that he died saving other people, right? Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to mention that. It's important to me that we don't forget those folks, never forget them. And particularly for me, Thomas Hetzel. And I remember a couple of years later, Trish, or 3 or 4 years later, whenever the 9/11 memorial got actually constructed down at the site, down at Ground Zero, we were down there. I remember, I think you were there too that day, and a couple of others. And I went and found his name, inscribed in the granite that goes around the pool there. It was really meaningful to me. And so anyway, shout out to him, RIP, and to all the heroes and people who died that time.
No, sorry, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think you're right. It's so important to remember the individuals, not just the day collectively, because it's one thing to think about where you were as it was happening. It was obviously horrific. I think anybody probably watching the show is old enough to have remembered that. And but you're right. I think putting a personal name, I didn't know you had done that. I knew you had a connection to that person, though, because I do remember, I think we were speaking probably at a conference board event.
Yeah, I think it was a conference board event. We were down in New York for that. Yeah.
And Jen McClure was there.
I remember that day very specifically. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was also the time of the I forget what it was called. Was it Occupy New York? It was where all of the parks.
Occupy Wall Street.
Occupy Wall Street was going on when we happened to be there. So the memorial wasn't quite finished, but the portion with the waterfall was. And so you're right. I do remember you saying you had a very specific person to go look up. And again, I think that just gives a more human connection to it. So if you don't have that connection, it's definitely a day to take time. And
it's easy. Look, next year is going to be the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I don't know if anniversary is the right word, but 20 years since 9/11. And I'm certain there'll be a big deal made over it, and rightly so. But I also think today's just the 19th anniversary, but we still should remember. We should remember all the time, but we shouldn't wait to certain occasions to remember these folks. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, good. Yeah. Well, mentioning that, I'm glad you brought that up, and it's a good reminder for all of us to go out there and look into that. So
yeah,
very good. Well, why don't I do this? Why don't I hand the phone off to
all right, so is Karen going to make an appearance?
Karen's going to make an appearance here, and we'll have Christy come on, at least give a hello, since she was kind enough to come all the way out here into
you dragged her out to the Go Pen, and I got to believe you got to watch your step out in that Go Pen.
I think she just named this Analyst Ranch. I sort of love that. No, you know what we were talking about, though, and it's just, we've done so many of these through Zoom, and you have to be so careful. And obviously Karen and I've been really protective about who we're around. I know Christy has as well, and so it was nice to be able to go out and have a lunch outside and just spend some time with real people for a change. So anyway, so I will hand this off to Karen first, and then we will pass it along just for some hellos. I will say, since you are not here in person, we did have a photo opportunity here at Analyst Ranch with baby Stevie. So
nice. We'll have to get that posted
nicely for you.
We'll have to get that posted on the happy hour account at some point. Yeah.
It's probably gonna blow up. I feel like it's gonna go viral on the Equifax site as well. Who doesn't love Stevie Jr.? She says, who doesn't love
Okay, Stevie? So just so you know, I can hear you still. You have kind of frozen. Your picture's frozen up a little bit.
Okay, is it better now?
All right. I don't know.
Moving?
Okay,
right,
I'm going to vamp a little bit. One other thing I wanted to mention. I can hear you. Keep talking. We've got like a side version, or your right side profile kind of we're looking at now. But we can hear you, I think.
Is that any better?
All right. So not hearing you now so great. So I think we're going to do this. Yeah, we're dragging. So it's a Friday. It's the end of the week. It's been a really great week. 2 movie recommendations for me for the weekend. If you're hanging out, watching some movies. To Sir with Love, back from the 60s. Cindy Poitier, great movie about a teacher in kind of an urban neighborhood in London. Great soundtrack, great title song. And then replay The French Connection, 1970s movie, won Oscar for Best Picture. Maybe doesn't hold up completely as good as it should, but still kind of exciting. Best car chase scene ever recorded in the movies. So For Trish McFarland, I know she would say goodbye. For Karen Hunter, for our friends from Equifax, thank you so much for listening. Thanks everybody for watching the HR Happy Hour show this week. And we will see you next week. And bye for now.